ESPN does not like it when I have their stuff in the background. Yeah, ESPN, you can't see shit, so you ain't getting a piece of the pie.
You gonna go to your OnlyFans?
What's that? My OnlyFans? Yeah, let me get undressed. No.
Have you
actually gotten in trouble with ESPN for that?
I haven't gotten in trouble. They'll do a copyright strike against it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's crazy.
No,
I get it.
it's copyrighted stuff. What?
Yeah, you know when you watch any sports activity, they're like, you must have.
What's going on, old school? How are you? High five, Linda. How are
You
you?
can't have the TV on.
Yeah, it can't be ESPN. Like most stuff is okay. ESPN, MLB, NFL, they're pretty restrictive. Michelle, how are you?
Express written consent.
Without the express written consent of the MLB, ESPN, and so on and so forth.
Cool.
Moonlight Decor, Pamela in the house, Roger, what's up? Nothing. Finally, the night calmed down. We were busy tonight.
Yeah.
I was running my butt off for a while.
Wings.
Lots of wings. Somebody called Lee coming in from Phoenix. Bill, what's up? Welcome to South Carolina.
Sucker.
Just went on. Hope everybody's having a good night. How's everybody's Wednesday? It's Miller time, if that's the beer of choice. What was the Miller commercials when we were growing up? Miller Lite, tastes great, less filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also had Euchre. Euchre was the voice.
Euchre was a big one of Miller Lite. Yeah. I don't. Does Miller advertise? Like so many companies that we grew up watching advertise don't bother advertising anymore. Like Budweiser still throws advertising out there. Coors Light does. I don't remember the last time I saw a Lowenbrock. Remember Lowenbrock? Lowenbrow. I think they still make it, but Lowenbrow was like big for a niche beer. They advertise all the time.
I used to sell it up in Albion when I had the bar.
I'm trying to remember what was their they had a slogan.
Lowenbrow, I don't remember. I don't remember.
What's that? Lowenbrow, for being a niche beer, it was a big deal. PBR advertised a lot. Bud always. I mean, Bud had the greatest commercials. The What's Up, the Frogs.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that was.
I haven't seen regular Michelob in probably 20 years. Like gold label, actual Michelob, not Mich Ultra, not Mich. You don't even see Mich Light anymore. That is true, Bills. Tommy, what's going on?
The last Lowenbrow
Guinness
here was
never
81.
does.
81.
The last Lowenbrow commercial was 81.
81 what I see there.
That's crazy.
Guinness had commercials, they just don't say anything.
Guinness, hey, I'm Rob, good to see you, buddy. I never saw a Guinness commercial, but Guinness was great about giving us stuff at the bar. We would get Guinness t-shirts, we had the big-ass Guinness mirrors.
The Guinness commercials, they never said anything. It was always the bubbles raising up in the glass.
Yeah, I don't remember
And then
seeing
the
a Guinness
bubbles would turn into
commercial.
like ballet dancers or like trips away.
You thought Michelob Gold was light? No, Michelob Gold was just Michelob. Michelob Light was silver label. Mich Ultra's white label.
Well, gold came in that little nip bottle too, right?
I don't know if Michelob had ponies.
It had that weird shape, it had the weird shape bottle, 100%.
Yeah, the ponies I remember OV splits, old Vienna splits, and I remember Matt's had like the little ponies. What's going on, Danielle? Doodle, what's up? Young Gummy, hello. Danielle, hello. Eric. James, what's going on, brother? Lopez's girl is in the house. Thunderbird, what's the word? Oh God, Thunderbird with Billy D. Williams. I'd forgotten that. He was so smooth.
Thunderbird, jeez.
You're back.
Thunderbird was too cheap. Caused a lot of troubles.
Wings will be out in 2 minutes. You know what we keep, Brandon? Where it just was.
You don't want ranch on my
So I don't know if you don't tell me. You tell me. Now I gotta go all the way back there.
I need 2 of them. I got one of my wings too.
All right, there's 3 ranch. Don't bother me anymore.
Thank you very much.
Tell me the hush.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna love that.
What's that?
He's gonna love that double parking thing.
Wes Roberts, welcome. What is everybody drinking tonight? Beer here. What's your beer of choice, Rob? Thank you for the $2. Every time I see that, I'm instantly taken back to Better Off Dead. I could build an entire empire $2 at a time just by saying I want my $2. Thank you, Five Knuckle. What's going on, life? Bud Ice. Do you guys remember all the ice beers? I'd forgotten about those. We had big in Buffalo's Labatt Ice was big. But Molson had an ice, Budweiser had an ice, Labatt had an No, Molson had a Bach, which was a black triple X. We called it the triple Bach. Just dirt soft drinks. Where are you coming from? Utah? Actually, it's funny you say that, Pamela. We have a swig that just opened up here where I am. And it's one of 3 on the East Coast, I think. And when I tell you the line goes all the way up to the highway, like the line is ridiculous. Everybody's going, especially the kids, they're coming from all over the place now.
That's what the line is, mostly. The line's mostly kids.
Be back. Want some wings? You want a smokehouse burger? Any additions or corrections? As it comes?
Pretty love like that.
How's your week?
It's going good.
Consider. Sounds ominous.
That's it? They didn't eat that today.
They just had that's it.
Well, yeah, that's what they were doing. The whole
Yeah.
don't let it so let it spread. Don't let it
It's getting cold. Where the hell did we go?
You don't consider maybe that to the bathroom.
Isn't White Claw like Zima? White Claw is a malt.
No, White Claw.
No, I'm sorry. Zima was a malt beverage.
Vodka.
Yeah, but White Claw, no, that's. I'll find out.
It's not like Zima. Zima.
No, Zima's a malt.
Yeah, Zima was a whole different thing.
White Claw is a spiked sparkling water. So it's a hard seltzer.
Thanks. Then you look at the High Noon.
High Noons are a vodka cocktail drink. Yeah, High Noons are an actual cocktail drink. You can get a vodka version or you can get a tequila version. White Claw is a spiked seltzer, so it's a hard seltzer. Zima was some kind of malt liquor thing.
So like, yeah, Zima was like Smirnoff Ice.
White Claw is
Smirnoff Ice.
Smirnoff Ice is malt. Yep. I never had I remember we would do Zima, but we would never drink it straight. You always mixed it with something. It would either be red because you put slow gin in it, which made it sweet, or it'd be blue because you put the blue curacao in it, or you wanted it melon, so you put Midori in it. And a lot of girls would always put Jolly Ranchers in there.
We had to put insulation back in there. But as soon as the picture the one, it smelled like beer.
Who ordered the beer?
Cat food.
Yeah, exactly, the candy, Pamela. And you would just put the Jolly Ranchers right into the Zima, and they would dissolve, flavoring the Zima. Chloe, they still sell Purple Passion. Zima's, yeah, Zima, I haven't seen in forever. MD 2020 has a new product out, which is actually called Mad Dog, that comes in cans. It might be like a White Claw. I got to check it out. I need to find me some. 2 beers, John? I'll get you one. What's going on, Val? Does anybody remember Tango? Yeah, I can double fist if it's online. Got us Google Zima. Let me know, but I don't think it's available anymore. Go Bills. Tequila Rose. Wasn't Tequila Rose like tequila and Bailey's? It was like a cream drink
Yeah, it's
that
like
came in those
like
little
a
tiny
milk
bottles.
tea, like a little milk tea.
Yeah.
Almost like a strawberry. Milkshake.
Rob, dude, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. That covers 10. Whatever happened to Bottles and James? Well, I know they thanked you for your support, and I'm pretty sure it's still available today. But it goes, what's that? No Zima, but Bottles and James is still a thing. But they're not advertising the way they used to have to. Bottles and James, it's weird. I guess they found it's not worth the advertising cost. People find it if they want it. I don't know. It's really strange. That's true, John. Used to drink Bottles and James. If I drank wine coolers at all, I was just the straight Seagram's wine cooler guy. I didn't like the flavors. I just wanted straight wine cooler. The nitro beers, the cans once they opened, that was very cool. I liked a can of Guinness with a little nitrous pack. I used to deliver pizza to the OG Swig in Bravo next to BYU. Dude, when I'm telling you, people come from like hours away. I think there's one in Tennessee, there's one here, and there may be one further along the coast.
Yeah, I haven't even looked through the rest of them.
But
It's only 3.
there's only 3 on the East Coast, and they're coming from all over the place. Yes, Ditch, Hickory Tavern in, Fort Mill, if you're looking up the address. Fort Mill, South Carolina. See, I said South Carolina. I sound like I grew up here, don't I? What do you mean, no?
No, it's actually Indian land, not Fort
It
Mill.
is, but if you look at our address, it says Fort Mill.
No,
I sound like I grew up here. I say y'all.
no, you don't.
Y'all?
You sound like me. You sound
Do I
like
sound like you?
me. No.
I'm tired.
I don't call it that. But you can tell you're not from here.
What do you mean?
Your voice is way tall.
I sound exactly like I grew up in the South. Exactly.
Hey, you don't.
calling me out as a Yankee.
Yeah, it's a Yankee. Ain't no
Well,
sub.
isn't the definition of what I did a damn Yankee?
My
So
God.
somebody told me. They said a Yankee is someone who comes to the South to visit. A damn Yankee is someone who comes and stays.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn
Damn
Yankee.
Yankee.
Yeah, you're damn Yankee.
Damn Yankee. I'll tell you what. We had every right to come down. Linda says, I love Northerners. Anytime someone wins a war, they're allowed to occupy. It just took us a couple hundred years to come down. We won, we just didn't come right down right away. Now we did.
Came down to it's cheaper now.
Damn cheaper, man. You have no idea. I
They got
literally,
figured it out that they were taxing the shit out
I
of it.
have 3 times the house here that I had in New York, and I pay a third of the taxes.
Yeah.
That we had a house in Rochester that was assessed at 150,000, little 1,600 square foot colonial. We were paying $6,000 a year in property taxes.
Damn.
Yeah, and that was 10 years ago. I'd be afraid to look up to see what they're paying in that house now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we let them rebuild first, James. Exactly. Ooh, them's fighting words, says Linda. No, the fight already happened, Linda. That's my point. I have a true Pennsylvania accent. What is my favorite drink? To drink or to make? To drink, I'm pretty basic. Captain and Coke's okay, vodka tonic, a beer here and there. To make, anything easy.
Crown Coke.
Chronic Coke works. Love your videos, however. How dare you, Yankees, try that again. You got it. All in good fun. All joking. Listen, although I did have some Southerners that when I got here complained about how many of us have come down. And the only thing I said to them, I'm like, it's not like I went to a foreign country. I didn't need a passport to come here.
Exactly.
If people move from Pennsylvania to New York, nobody questions them. If you go from Montana to, it's still the same country. And I love it down here. No hurricanes.
You see all these damn townhomes and shit that they're building around here?
Yeah.
Because all y'all fuckers are coming down here.
True.
Take your asses back up there.
I'm not going anywhere. It's cold up there. And there's a lot of snow and a lot of taxes.
Take your asses back up there.
I don't want you go up there. See how you last in December in Buffalo.
I don't fucking love it.
No, you would not love it. I
love cold
promise
weather.
you. Canadian in Arizona. That's cool. Sex on the beach. Let's see. So many different ways to make that. The way I always made that was Southern Comfort. Vodka, peach schnapps, orange juice, cranberry juice.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna go out.
Lamar's. Ass. Slow comfortable screw. Slow gin Southern Comfort in orange juice. That's what made it a sex on the beach, I think, is actually I think it's adding Malibu. It turns slow comfortable screw into a sex on the beach. I don't know. It's been a while since I made those. Tampon in the toilet? Never heard that one. What's going on, Jack?
Hey, God. Oh, what kind of drink is that?
Is there gonna get tater tots or I'm gonna do grilled tots? Nobody around this area sells cooking tots. The only one that had it is I've already went to every, I've already showed them with every fucking menu. Nobody sells it. do it or Cisco.
No brandy or scotch. Shot of bourbon with a beer back. That sounds decent. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Beer.
$30,000. You can order 5 items and it's over $1,000 delivered. Depending on what we're ordering, you know what I'm saying? So, depending on what we're ordering, they want 35 items no matter the price. No matter the price, they want $35. So he tried to get it like at first it was 15. They went up to like, I can do that. And then next month they went up to 35. It's like that's why I'm like, man, fuck all these goddamn fucking I gotta have 35 fucking items. He's like, well, I'm gonna call them and talk to them. That one was confusing. Like, if they don't want to do it, I'm gonna get rid of them. So I'm like, okay. So I'm talking to them about marketing on that. So we only got 2 trucks today.
I think I've been sitting that long. That's fucking good.
Well, I ain't seen my baby since
I'm tired of taking all the racing and all these dumb gas.
See, I don't know the whole song. Luna, it's been kind of stormy here in South Carolina, too. I could mow the lawn twice a week, but I'm trying to just get by with about a week right now. Never got the pickle juice chaser thing.
Picklebacks?
Yeah, I never understood that. You? No.
Picklebacks not my favorite.
Make me some grog, barkeep. You got it.
I'll tell you straight up. I'll take
Hey, Angel.
I'll take 151 straight up.
Dude, yeah, I mean, that's how, I mean, if I'm going to do a shot, sometimes, like, I'll do shots of Crown, but believe it or not, I like a ginger ale back. Like, I don't like Coke because it completely covers the taste of the Crown, but, like, just a little shot of ginger ale right after.
I mean, that's why I drink Crown and Coke, because if you don't taste it, it just goes down.
It goes down.
It goes down. And then,
Yeah, I'm a Captain Coke guy. I do love
Yep,
Captain
got my papers. I'm all good. Thank you.
call ice.
Am I legal? Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But you know what? The fact that I might not be, your mom finds it really exciting, so we just go with it.
Got
Tell your mother I said hola.
Yes. Opa.
Or opa, that works too. Show me your ID. I left it in your mother's bedroom dresser underneath the toy I bought
Keep
her.
it going. Keep it going.
Do me a favor, change the battery because we wore out last time. He's part of the state, cool. How's my wife and kids? At least the humidity keeps your skin hydrated, without a doubt.
You said it.
Daniel, what's going on?
You said it. The joke is, how's your wife and my kids?
Show me your ID. Again, if you're anything like your mom, I'd have to unzip my pants to do so. I'm choosing not to, so as to make sure you don't grow up traumatized.
Oh, yeah. Drink all the Capri Suns.
Trying to behave tonight, says Linda. All right, I've amused myself enough with that particular.
Tell them monster to swallow.
We should probably get off Mother's because I just got off yours.
Do I remember Duran Duran? Of course I remember Duran Duran. Of course.
No reason they went to Rio.
Well, the big one when I was a kid was Hungry Like a Wolf. Dude, we have so many shared experiences, and the crazy thing is, it doesn't matter if you grew up in the north or the south, if you were rich, poor, black, white, city kid, country kid, if you grew up in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, we all shared so much. Now, down here, like in South Carolina, I'm finding even like the ones that grew up in the 2000s share a lot of it, because their parents didn't stop beating them for a while. Like up north, they got culture, and they stopped beating the tar out of their kids, but in the south, that continued into like the 2000s a little bit. So, you know, parents demanding respect, beating the tar out of their kids being outside alone till the streetlights came on. That continued a little bit later in the South.
When I was a kid, if me and my brother misbehaved in the back of my car, my mom had a yardstick.
A yardstick.
She'd be done, she'd grab it and just...
Nice.
My mom, so in New York, if we were misbehaving in the car, we got the snow brush. Now, which isn't horrible if you got the bristle. If you got the bristle side of the snow brush, you were okay. But every now and then,
you're not going to get the bristle side.
well, there's an ice scraper side to some of them with that big plastic ice scraper, and if that came over the side of the car seat, wrong end up, you were like, I'm done. Rob, thank you, dude. First concert, we're gonna swap. My first concert was Night Ranger Starship, Sister Christian tour, the We Built This City tour. Not the coolest concert on earth, but it was pretty fun. Gray Slick. Chug more Coke back. Night Ranger Starship. I always wanted to be one of those guys that could say, you know, the Beastie Boys was my first concert, or Metallica, or Judas Priest.
I got Panic at the Disco for my first.
What's that?
I'm not very
Yeah, who was that? I said, this motherfucker invented dirt.
No, Night
How the
Ranger
hell was
Star-
that?
You don't know who, Sister Christian. You remember that song? Sister Christian, all the time has come.
Night, Jimmy.
And you know that
Yeah,
everybody wants to say.
No.
You don't know that song? Get out of my bar.
I'll get out, but I ain't paying a tab.
I got your credit card on file.
No, you don't.
You think I don't? Half my Amazon wish list has been covered by you.
I make sure I change it every 3 months, motherfucker.
3 months is all I need, dude.
Well, I know when I know when
Van Halen, that's a cool first concert.
What do you see?
Van Halen.
Wow, that's the first.
Thank you, Toast.
First concert?
Yes, Kristen, I see that. What else we got? Who else first concerts? Beach Boys, when they recorded for the Full House episode with Uncle Jesse on drums. That's kind of cool.
He was
I
just
remember
here.
that.
He was just here in
He was
in
still
Charlotte.
here. He was still
Yeah,
here.
they fucking get the book.
Yeah.
Was
Wilson.
he was not with them. Okay. First concert was the Kinks. That's pretty cool. You have no idea who they are either, do you? The Kinks? No.
What's the song?
Hey, ask them to know
How about the Clash? Do you know the Clash?
Songs.
Do you know the
How do
Clash?
you do songs?
I gotta do songs.
Glass is Rock the Casbah.
Rock the Casbah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that? Cool.
Hey, ask them to know. Hey,
Kiss
Kinks
reunion
Lola.
concert in
Kinks
Chicago.
and Lola.
Do you know who Kiss is?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, ask them
We
to
don't know
know.
who
Oh
he
yeah,
is.
I was gonna say that
Everybody knows
he's
he is.
he's going a little too far with that. Yeah.
Everybody
Do you know who Michael Jackson is?
I know.
But y'all know who Foghat is?
Yeah.
I thought that one was
Do you really?
Fog Hat?
Yes.
I don't think it. No, I don't think it.
You really know who that is? That's my uncle.
Really?
He
Oh,
wrote every single song.
that's cool.
Slow Ride, all that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Take it easy. That's my uncle.
The one he works with us at 521.
That's for real. Wow. Holy shit.
John, that fucking knows him.
I didn't know he was there.
He works with us on so right.
They're trying to go camping and Fonz goes outside and he goes,
Yeah, but he wrote all their albums.
That's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, that really is cool.
And you can ride your car.
Yeah, you are.
He wrote-
My
Hey,
favorite
John,
happy. Yeah.
You remember Foghat?
Do I remember Foghat? I know of that.
Slow ride. Slow ride.
Slow Ride. You know my uncle wrote all that. You knew this. He's trying to play his own. Yeah, my uncle wrote all that.
My favorite Happy Days episode.
Have a good night, John. Good night, buddy.
Jamie over there?
that was where Mick and Morty, was that Mick and Morty?
Band Alabama in the 90s.
Or Mork and Mindy.
Yeah, more community.
That's where
Mork and Mindy was cool. Well,
Mork and Mindy got their start was on that.
so a lot of shows. So Happy Days had, I think, 7 spin-offs. Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Out of the Blue, Joni Loves Chachi. Somebody help me. There's like 2 or 3 more. Laverne and Shirley actually was pretty good.
Friends really only had Joey and one other, so like
Just Joey. Yeah, I think Friends Only had Joey. Just the only Friends Only had the one failed spinoff, unless you count like the commercials they're doing now. Police and later Sting. Synchronicity was released today. Synchronicity 2 for the police.
Can I get a box, 3 lids, and
A box, 3 lids, and a Coke to go. What kind of Coke? See, that's a Southern thing, right? No, but
Hey, hey, what kind of Coke do you have? What do you have? You're from New York. You know what Coke?
see, I grew up saying soda. Some people say pop, but down here they say Coke.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what kind of Coke? I'm like, what the hell do you mean, what kind of Coke?
What kind of Coke do you want?
They're like, well, I don't know if you want a Coke or a
Can I get an 8 ball?
I say soda now.
the bigger ones.
We're a doctor.
I think Coca-Cola.
I think you're the only one that realized what I was saying.
I knew what you were saying.
Hey, shut up.
I ate 93 pounds soaking wet. The last thing you do is Coke. You disappear into nothing.
We don't, hey, she doesn't need ice or anything.
No ice?
No, I mean, hey, she still has that.
I figured she was going to drink that.
No,
Give put one with no ice in it.
no, you're good. I do a Mountain Dew.
I don't got Mountain Dew.
You know, but I didn't see that right there. I thought you were my guy. Half fried wings.
Take it back.
Oh, you gotta get drink first. We always do say that. Should be a lot of. It sounds good. It sounds good to start with.
I may like the game I'm still young, but I've learned to hydrate.
It always sounds good. You know, not one goes down real quick. That only took my 30 seconds. How you feeling there, man?
Houston area. Never been to Houston. Just went to Dallas a couple weeks back for the first time. That was pretty cool. Don't like the taste of alcohol, but I like the effects. I think I'm kind of right there with you, Linda. How you doing, boss? Sure, 16 or 22 ounces.
Yeah, you want bigger go home. Yeah, good.
One 10 days of
Like I did, check it.
What's that? No.
Hey girl, how you doing? Doing good?
Fucking going there.
Yeah, well, you know. At least I wanted to do more than that.
That's what they all say.
It's okay, I like you. It's okay, I like you.
You're cool though, right?
Yeah, you do realize there's more of us than there are of you.
Greeks?
No, not Greeks, but Northern.
I think the days of Sparta are over.
I know you.
I honestly love the Carolina more than I do New York.
He's from Buffalo though, so that's different. Yeah. I don't like you from Buffalo.
Okay, that makes me Buffalo. Anything like Buffalo. Summers in Buffalo are nice. I'm sure it is.
Hey, well, hey, you know what? Just take your ass down there in the winter time.
Because you get down here, you're like, oh, yeah, they're just trying to be good people. They're nice people. We try.
I'm here for a job. I like it.
And you're still
Yeah, I mean, this area's not bad at all. I mean,
How you been though?
in terms of like, looks like one of the best different areas in the United States.
We're trying to be Atlanta and New York at the same time.
The show's always trying to get.
We're trying to be Atlanta and New York.
I don't know about Atlanta. That's a little too rugged for me.
Because, well, no, it's just city size. Because I know, even like back in 2001, I remember being an elementary school kid and like the teachers freaking out thinking Charlotte was going to be the next target because it was the second biggest banking city on the East Coast. Trying to be New York. Trying to be New York.
But Charlotte's always one of the problem. What Charlotte people don't like is Charlotte, like children like that. Nobody says Charlotte. They say Atlanta, you know Atlanta. I always say Charlotte, North Carolina. I still say Charlotte, North Carolina. They want it to be Charlotte. And that's what they tried to do for fucking 25 years. It's a single name of Charlotte. And
Give us more banks.
No, but it's still not like that.
I'm like looking everywhere from my phone to see what time it is, and then I realized, phone's over there.
Don't say New York, New York.
The bar needs some outfield blasting right now. I throw it on, but then it's like this late at night. It's one thing if I'm doing trivia. For some reason, I get away with it more. If I put music on while just doing a straight live like this and I'm not front-facing against it, I end up getting a copyright strike due to the music. Hickory Tavern in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Did you hear that? Carolina. Pretty good?
Carolina.
Carolina. Carolina.
I say Lime. That's Carolina.
I did close enough. Hey, Ton. Tiffany coming at us from Texas. Texas.
Texas.
They're trying to break the video.
Say Kershaw.
How do you pronounce Van Wyck?
Van Wyck.
You say Van Wyck, you don't say whack? It drives me nuts when people here say Van Whack.
Van
I'm
Wyck.
like, that's not how it's spelled. It's Van
They
Wyck.
pronounce the town like Cherryville.
Cherryville.
Cheers.
It's
Terrible.
spelled cherry, it's Cherryville.
It's terrible.
It's
It's
terrible.
terrible. It's terrible. And if you ever go to Marshville, it's Marshville. That's it. It's Marshville.
John,
Hey,
And don't you go
Outta
down
here,
the
brother.
other way.
be good, my friend.
I don't like Marshall. That reminds me of
Hey, that's the home of
children
Andy
corn.
Travis.
That reminds me think of children corn. They have too much down in cornfields there.
See you guys next week.
Bye, John.
One more Wednesday and then I'm out for summer.
Have a good night.
Thank you. If I see you next week, Wednesday, I'll leave. The Wednesday after that, we'll leave for Greece like 4 weeks.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you. You guys be good.
you pay that money back. You don't need to use that grease.
Absolutely need to use it.
You care, my God.
Appreciate
Yeah, you asked me if I knew about Happy Days. I knew about freaking Noah Kyle's spinoff of Noah Kyle's spinoff of what was it? Mayberry with Andy Griffith show.
Yeah, Andy Griffith is funny to know about. But I mean, I don't get when kids don't know stuff like that. Because when we were growing up, I knew stuff like I Love Lucy, Keep It to Beaver.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was already yes, but I mean, we knew stuff that was like 30 years before we were ever born, and we had 3 channels to watch it. I don't know how we do it.
They don't regurgitate that.
Because kids nowadays,
It's the technology, social media.
There's too many things vying for their attention. Yeah.
Stuff these kids are freaking eating.
And they love the brand. They just
I was just at a dinner and we were all talking and there was this freaking 19-year-old boy. He's like, everybody's talking about what they do for work. He's like, oh, I own a social media company. You know, like I looked at all the older guys and they're like, listen to this guy. What he's saying. Like he was talking about working at home, editing videos, and freaking making money. It's not like they're being good for him.
Yeah, it happens. For his generation, that's it.
They got it easy.
I mean, but think about it. The only difference is that all the money that used to be spent marketing on television is now being pushed over social media. The only true commercials you see now are going to be pharma, which are pointing at the baby boomer generation, but they're still watching TV. So every third commercial is a pharma commercial.
And those are illegal in other countries.
That's a big medication without seeing
I can get it. Like, on that trade, it's like all those shows that advertise medicine.
You're 1,000% right.
I know nothing about medicine. Why am I being advertised medicine on TV every day if I watch it? Well, no, that's me. But I into like anywhere else in the world, it should be illegal to advertise medicine on TV to people who don't know anything about the medicine except for what's being told to them in this advertising. Yeah, but it's the ask your doctor. Ask your doctor.
It's like, oh, this is like, it shows like something like a happy family.
It's just that in other countries, it's not like medicine being printed by the patient of saying, hey, it's the guy who's spent his entire life studying medicine.
Rob, is that you, my friend? Yeah, it is. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Turn down the global thermostat. Dude, if I could, I would. I woke up about 3 nights ago, and the air conditioning upstairs, we have 2 different units, one upstairs, one downstairs. And upstairs was like 82 degrees, and I ran outside, and the pipes on the air conditioning unit were frozen over. So, of course, I called somebody to come fix it. They couldn't be out there for like 3 days. In that 3 days, the air conditioner worked beautifully, so I canceled the appointment. The minute I canceled the appointment, it froze over again. So I rescheduled it. He's going to show up tomorrow, and it's been working fine for the last 48 hours, but I'm not canceling the appointment. I'm thinking, how serious can it be if it keeps fixing itself? I'm hoping it's something simple, but we'll see. Today, heat index went over 100, and thankfully it was working. It's just the pipes are freezing, and then when that happens, it won't push out the cold air until it thaws out, and then you start over. Never turn it off. It turns itself off when it freezes. Duct tape it. That's probably a good idea. Good evening. What's going on, Robert? Eloquent Sarcasm, great name. Jack, hello. Reba, hello. Hopefully it's an easy fix. Usually it's one of 2 things when it does that. Either bad airflow, which means change your air filters. I've done that. Low refrigerant might be the other reason. So we're going to see if we can put some refrigerant in it if it needs it, and we see where it goes. Fingers crossed.
And then it just evolved into being like, healthcare should be.
Showed a couple of my vids to coworkers who are fellow Gen Xers. Dude, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I love when you guys share it. Hose out the fins, they might be clogged. I'll give that a shot tomorrow.
Corporations? No, it's corporate welfare. Yes, sir. It's
Drain line plugged up? No, it's a good call, but it is dripping out. I honestly think it's refrigerant. I think the coolant's a little low, which explains why it comes and goes.
why does it cost?
Hopefully it's a slow leak, some sealant, and some refrigerant, and it's an easy $500 fix. Isn't exactly what I wanted to spend right before taking the family to Greece in a couple weeks, but I'm hoping that's all it is.
Military barbers on the base, where you get it there, it's on the government dime, but it ends up being charged as like $500 per haircut because it's through a corporation doing its own contract type deal. So like if you you get a contract with yes. Yes. And then there's also corporations that like do well, that do like charities to their own charities that they decide where the money goes and what they end up supporting, and they use that as write-offs to where their corporations end up paying zero in taxes. And when I say zero in taxes, I mean effective 0.000 taxes. With billions of dollars.
Amazon never paid any taxes. Amazon doesn't pay taxes.
Billions of dollars in revenue.
That's why no matter what happens, no matter what they do, like the fucking middle class and lower classes, and everything has this every single thing from on the rich. No matter what they do, everything from on the rich.
And Bezos, Zuckerberg, Elon, and one or two other billionaires who are sitting behind the and he's got the richest cabinet in the history of the world.
That's what I never understood. That's what I never understood about all billionaires. No, I've never understood why the average American blue-collar worker voted for Trump.
A billionaire would have
That's what I don't understand. They gave nothing like so why the fuck would they think that he could do a better job to run the country than like? It just doesn't make any sense.
we're not upsetting anybody.
I don't know.
I think it's a race thing.
That honestly,
I think it's a race thing.
I grew up thinking that every president was a reaction to the former president.
Yeah.
We had smooth talking ladies man in Clinton in the 90s when I was a child. That turned into a bumbling fool in Bush. From there we
I'm not a Republican. I don't think
well, I just remember in middle school growing up with Iraqi terrorists would never stop finding new and inventive ways to kill Americans.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to do 9/11. That's what they had to do with 9/11. I don't know. I just
And the admission
He wasn't well spoken.
no, that's what
He's actually a highly intelligent.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like when he spoke, it came out as like unbelievable. Yeah. But that was the opposite of smooth talking really well, really
Smooth as it's like,
it was the opposite of the smooth talking ladies man.
fucking mind your business.
It was the opposite.
The Democratic convention.
And then from there, we got Obama, who was like extremely confident, well-spoken. Not necessarily like the smooth talker that
No, I think
was or a ladies man.
And you could have done so much more. It's the last time we had a balanced budget.
And then
Because
because
there's
Obama was
so much we could have done.
we got
But that opens the door to
was
our
just right and racist.
He was a flawed human being. Everything. But he was scandal now.
That's just how I
But that's what they legitimately were really bad because there was blood in the water of huge. Before that, everybody kind of said,
I just never got into that whole thing.
right? They all went Kennedy, whatever. Gary Hart was found with Donna Rice in 1988, and I quote, as an extra-American, and that's how something incredible. He was the front runner. But when they said, we're gonna go check out, he goes, come follow me, I got nothing to hide. They followed him on his boat, which by the way, he had made monkey business. And there was a woman on the boat with an end in his career, he was done. And then he quit because of the front, and then the guy got destroyed because of the extramarital affair. And Clinton became president, who was the poster child for extramarital. Just, you can't make it up. But because the Republicans went after Clinton so hard, then when Bush came in office, the Democrats said time for arbitration, and they went after Bush really hard. And then Obama came in, and the Republicans doubled down, and it just gets worse every time.
I still say shame on the Democrats for being okay with the Iraq war. They should have all known there wasn't WMD.
You don't know. That booking had historically.
That was Bush trying to get Saddam back for trying to kill his dad.
I don't know.
Maybe,
Trump
but we didn't know what we didn't know. And in a time like that,
We don't know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. And we know what we know, we just don't know the unknowns.
to this day, some say that there were weapons that were bundled in series. You never know.
Those people are full of shit because if they didn't have nukes, they would have used it.
You're
Oh, yeah,
Saddam
weapons
Hussein.
of mass
You're Saddam Hussein. You're sitting on gold coin. You have anything and everything you want.
He was
The
popular.
only way that you're taken down is if you don't let the UN come in and investigate weapons that you supposedly don't have. He had everything to gain and nothing to lose by letting them come in and look if he didn't have them. And instead he ended up losing his last days of his life in a whole.
I mean, I'd say
What the
first
hell
off,
was he thinking?
no country should be
I
invaded
guess.
on that
I don't
sense,
like,
but
you wanna
like-
come see, come look. Just
I would
leave
say
the door you came in.
there was a potential strategy in the sense of, oh, you think I have weapons of mass destruction. I'm gonna let you continue thinking I have them so that you don't invade me. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. But I can see the potential strategy of going like, oh, you're not gonna invade because you think I have them. I'm gonna let you keep thinking I have them, because if you let them come in and inspect them and they go, oh, you don't have them, then they really do turn it into a 2-week war.
Did you see that Netflix documentary on Bin Laden?
No, which
That
one?
shit is insane. Just type it up.
You know what? That's the cool thing. You get a certain age of people at the bar, they can still talk about politics, disagree, and they don't care. It's just a late night conversation.
There's like little bits and pieces about that actually. There's like bits and pieces of like him being involved in things.
Well, he was involved in a.
They knew about him. They knew about him in the 80s.
Yeah, he was sponsored by them.
And my job as a bartender is to never take sides.
Yeah, I've seen.
That's like, well, John, when he's not here, let's not say we did.
Current terrorists, and they're like current terrorists being trained in Pakistan, and they're like, you know, you're really not training. with
Absolutely
the right
true,
guys.
eloquent.
If you wanna get shit
Yes,
done, you gotta train with the CIA.
Well, and the people that fucking did 9/11 training in the United States.
It's just, it's funny though, 'cause you hear that all the time, like, don't discuss politics at a bar, but at a certain age, they have no problem. I've seen really, really right-wing talking to really, really left-wing, and they'll jab at each other, and then they'll buy each other a beer and leave as friends. They've lived long enough to know that at the end of the day, the differences between the two are the same.
Almost in the sense of like anti-apartheid violence. Of like, if you set up the conditions for violence, then you should expect it.
Yeah, but you gotta say something.
Yeah, that's the point. Like we set up these conditions for people to hate us, and then we get surprised because well, yeah. I mean, I grew up thinking that like 9/11 was actually the first time the United States had been like attacked in large on the continental United States in our land. Because like Hawaii, I don't think was even a United States state. I thought it got added as a state in the 50s. Oh, okay.
But to your point, that's the first attack, and that was going, and only.
So like
We are protected on all borders by ocean. That's a good thing.
and there's also the idea
Yeah,
that
it used
like
to be Canada, but I still don't sound clear.
we didn't know what to expect when it would happen.
Small changes are.
So like when 9/11 happened, we're like, oh, we'll bring hell down on whoever it is.
A large scale attack on a civilian population. It wasn't, it was nothing from government.
It wasn't an attack on a weapons facility or on a government building, and it used civilian aircraft to attack civilians. I mean, that's a different animal. There were children on those planes, everything. We had every right to be safe as we were now. Did we put out our range in the wrong direction?
So I would say with the qualifier that I wasn't necessarily looking at it that way, because like I said, I was actually in elementary school when the teacher just like rolled out the TV at 8 in the morning. It was like your parents are coming to pick you up, and then turned it on and it was showing us that it was happening. But like I just grew up seeing it as like that was the time that Americans actually saw America get attacked on the continent of the US, and we just went, oh, that would never fucking happen. Ever again. And we'll show you why that would never, ever happen.
That was one of the few times when
And we just found it hard.
something came together, and it was always under those circumstances coming together. My earliest memories are just the same when they Iran, when they took our embassy people hostage. You know what, 50 hostages? Was that the Israeli embassy? And it was the U.S. embassy in Iran. A bunch of militant students overtook it and kept Americans hostage for 400 days. Oh shit! And I was over a year. Over a year. It was during Carter's administration. And the Carter administration actually should get some credit for their release, but the Iranians hated Carter so much they waited until after Reagan was inaugurated.
That was the one where Reagan was accused of working as or negotiating as president when he wasn't.
Correct.
Which wasn't that why they established there's like a law about it right now.
Well, some say that he stipulated that the hostages not get released until he became president.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, whoever got home got home. But as a little kid, the amount of sleep I lost over this concept that adults can take your hostage. Like being 8 years old, I just remember we made ribbons because I'm in school. We put ribbons on trees, little ribbons. Everybody wore the ribbons and we made signs. And there was a calendar in school with all the pictures of hostages, and every day they put another day up. And I just said, like, how can this happen? There are no
That's weird, back in the past.
Yeah. The whole country was like riveted on it.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, it's still.
There was no protection for the kids to be like, oh, this is too scary for them.
Yeah, it's,
They brought us money.
Like I said, 2001, I was actually 8, and the teacher just pulled the TV out, turned it on to the news, and we watched the second plane hit, and we were just like, and the teacher was, your parents are coming to pick you up right now.
See, the difference is, so our version of that was Space Shuttle Challenger took off. We were all watching. There was a teacher on board. A civilian for the first time was going to go into space. And she won this nationwide contest to be the first teacher in space. And so we're all sitting there watching. And they were wheeled into the cart. And there's kids of all grades, from kindergarten all the way to high school, watching. And it fucking blew up before our
This
very
was
eyes.
supposed to be a good thing. Like, at least we kind of like knew something was
bad
up.
going on. No, this was supposed to be a great thing. She was going to do a lesson in space.
I remember that because I got home, my mom was crying.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And then after, I just remembered that it blowing up and the teacher being like, huh, took the TV card, put it away, said, all right, boys and girls, turn to page 73 in your workbook.
No, our teacher walked in.
We did not go home.
Our teacher walked in distraught and just like shocked face and all, and turned the TV on to the news.
Teaching youngins about the Challenger.
yeah, I wasn't in school.
No, I mean, it was bad. Well, it could have been worse. The plan, so the whole thing was a stunt. People weren't paying attention to NASA. No one was watching the shuttles launch. NASA needed good PR.
I
And they,
didn't watch it in school. Like, I didn't know anything about it until I got home. My mom was crying. Like, what the hell's wrong? You know?
it could have been so much worse. The alternative plan was to put Big Bird in space. They were working with PBS to launch Big Bird up into space.
You're not playing. That's not a
But
joke.
that's not a joke.
Oh god.
Now imagine all the kids in America watching Big Bird blow up like a rotisserie turkey, rotisserie chicken.
Days.
Sunny days,
Sipping the
clouds away. There's no coming back from that. There would have been no coming back from that. Hey, black
Real
sheep.
reason for being so grouchy.
Yeah, there would have been like a Sesame Street funeral. What they would have had to do to make that right.
Oh, I would have grown up without Big Bird.
Well, you heard that like Sesame and all that completely changed for you.
No, I didn't hear that.
Like so, well, PBS, Netflix picked it up. Netflix decided to carry it anymore, so then probably Disney Plus picked it up, which makes sense because they own
Who picked it up?
Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
They own Muppets.
Yeah.
Makes
Makes a really good idea.
PBS lose the rights to Sesame Street.
PBS is, I mean, no, the government's cutting funding to PBS. PBS already has a fucking, like, bag for money, and then, like,
We need another Mr. Rogers, or we need to just play Trump.
It would be
Rogers
impossible.
testimony.
It'd be impossible to have Mr. Rogers.
Even Sesame Street. You remember when we were kids, there was Big Bird and Snuffleupagus, and only Big Bird could see Snuffleupagus?
funding that. I remember some funding.
So for the initially, when I was really young, nobody could see
He was Big Bird's imaginary friend.
Okay.
And it used to frustrate the hell out of me because Big Bird would be like, look, he's right here. And as soon as an adult showed up, Snuffy took off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, stay there until people see you. Like, as a kid, it bothered me. Well, eventually, they allowed Snuffy to be seen. And I just found out recently why. People were, it was like when stranger danger was going out. Some executives said, you know what, it's probably not a good idea to have a kid telling his friends and family, hey, someone's here talking to me, and having the friends and family not believe it. That's probably a bad thing to be pushing out. When a kid's saying there's somebody here with you, you're supposed to listen to it. Good night, guys.
Good night. I'll be very well. Yeah, looking back, it was a little bit ridiculous, but Charlotte did think that they were the next target. It was like New York got hit, DC had something fly at it. Oh God, they're coming for Bank of America and Wachovia.
I just remember that day, so much disinformation. So that day, I had gotten up early because I was supposed to drive to New York City.
Oh.
I was going to be, there was a game show called The Week of Slink on at the time.
Oh, I remember that with the redheaded short-haired lady.
Yes. So I had made it on The Weakest Link for filming. That's the one exactly. And we were supposed to film later that week. So I got up to drive down to New York City that day and was literally getting ready when the first plane went in. So I'm like, what the hell? Saw the thing that obviously it went nowhere. The show it never came back on hiatus. That was the end of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There was no filming, but
I used to watch that all the
I
time.
just remember all the disinformation. There was an unrelated fire on the Mall of Washington, and basically everyone thought that Washington was burning down. The reporting was just saying anything and everything to try to get the story out in real time. And there was really no corroborating, making sure they knew exactly what they're saying was real. It felt like we were being attacked on all sides from every direction.
That's what I'm saying. With everybody being like, oh shit, we need to get our kids home.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get home now.
For the first and only time in history, we landed every plane in the sky and they didn't fly for what, a week, 2 weeks? Everything shut down.
Yeah. Though I can't say just because I guess mainly because I'm from the generation that was like a kid when it happened.
Yeah.
I will say the one conspiracy theory I believe is that that plane over Pennsylvania got shot down.
I mean, we lived in a world, yeah, cell phones and stuff were still fairly, it's not what it is today,
Well, it's just the idea.
but we
that,
have
like,
so many conversations from that time that it seems like what we think happened, happened. We see the struggle, we see the plane doing everything it was doing.
The let's roll thing.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
There is that because I haven't looked too much into it. It's just always made sense that like, all right, there was a plane that flew at the Pentagon. There was a plane that flew at the World Trade Center.
If you want to go into a rabbit hole, look at the Pentagon one. That's the one to the
yeah,
hole.
that's
At the end of the day,
that's
I
definitely one. But it was the idea that like we've already had 3 plane crashes.
Yeah.
We're not gonna let this 4th one that's off course get to wherever it
They
was.
would-
going.
Well, by
They
the
were
same
gonna hit the
token,
White
the
House.
passengers on the plane knew what happened. They knew they were all
Were
dead.
there any? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're like, we're dying anyway. We're not going to be using them.
They knew they were dead, and that's not.
That's what I'm saying. It like turns into like the perfect of like, all right, this definitely could have happened either way.
Either way, the order was given. We know that. The order was given that if this gets anywhere near Washington, it's coming down.
It goes down.
It just didn't get that far.
Okay.
But had it gotten that far, yeah.
It would have gone, yeah.
They would have had no choice.
Because I even remember growing up playing rugby in high school. And
Same with me,
uh,
Kiwi, obviously.
There was a guy on that plane that is, I think is the one that they made like a documentary for.
Sorry about that, John. Not a lot of one.
Where he was a rugby player and he was one of the players that like took down one of the terrorists supposedly on that plane.
Yeah.
That like was genuinely just one of those that like, oh yeah, we're all dead here, but
we
There you
can
go.
make sure nothing else happens.
Right.
And they have a yearly tournament for him, just
Yeah, that's-
commemorating that this dude was a hero.
He was.
Who's that?
He was the one
There was
dude
a-
that was a rugby player.
You know what I didn't realize? Mark Wahlberg, was scheduled to be on that flight coming out of Logan.
Yes, so is the guy who created Family Guy.
Really?
Same-
So,
same flight,
and Wahlberg got himself in a little bit of trouble because for a while he was quoted saying that had he been on that plane, it wouldn't have gone down that way.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, what a
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no,
comment.
he recognized that it was the wrong thing to say, for sure.
There's
Seth,
a
Seth
show
MacFarlane.
from
Seth
ABC
MacFarlane.
called A Billion Little Things.
Seen it?
That one starts out with a guy supposed to have been getting on a plane, and he like misses it or it gets delayed for some
Yeah.
reason. He ends up like meeting his wife, and
Well,
it's
did-
on 9/11.
Well, did you see
I think it
the
was like 8:47.
you see the Titan thing yet on
No.
Netflix? So they have a documentary on the capsule that went to go see Titanic that blew up. The Titanic's undefeated, right?
Con, you're right there.
Titanic.
Oh, I did see that one.
So imagine this: the day before the one that imploded, right? They had a YouTuber and his like right hand man, 2 other people plus the guys that were on the ship normally. So different 5 guys were at sea for 9 days waiting to get the okay to go down. Right? They got onto the ship. They literally said, "All right, we got a chance. This is our chance." They go get ready to like dive in. They start diving in, right? They lose communication for 14 minutes and they head back to the surface. So literally the day before, it would have been this YouTuber. I think his name's like Scuba Jake or something like that.
Yeah.
And it would have been him and that group that would have imploded instead of the people that imploded the few weeks later.
You listen. I'm infatuated with I'm completely. I look at it as such an interesting thing. The Titanic. I've read books. I've seen documentaries. I'm totally infatuated by it. I think it's incredible. The irony involved in the world's safest ship going down on its maiden voyage. All the money, the richest people, just all that. That being said, you could not pay me enough to go down there in a cylinder run by an Xbox remote control. Not a chance in hell.
See, I was gonna say, what makes me actually laugh at those people is that James Cameron himself, the guy that's like the actual world-renowned deep-sea diver and explorer, was like, no, that's way too dangerous. You can't go that deep at all. And the guy running it was like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Well, the
And then
material
took
that
a
he
bunch of
used was
billionaires
like,
to their death.
it was a composite. It's not like
It's carbon fiber.
carbon fiber, and they're like they can't do that.
You know what the funny thing was? So when you watch the documentary, right? So it had made, I think, like 60 dives. And it was good. What wound up happening was the engineers that decided how the carbon fiber works said you cannot put this in sub-freezing temperatures, right? So they had an instance the previous season where there was a loud bang on coming up. There's a small hairline crack in the carbon fiber. And then they went and they docked it in Nova Scotia, which obviously gets
Cold
below
water.
freezing. So the second that the water got in there, it froze, started breaking the fibers. Why it imploded.
Couldn't do it. Could not do
Oh, you
it.
can't
Not-
even start the can, no way.
Not a chance.
No way.
First of all, and it locks from the outside. So you, in the best case scenario, you come back up and you're at like the mercy of the people out there. And then the one time it went down, it was about to go into the water, and so the capsule front, the window, the piece in the front is secured by 4 bolts, just 4. There was room for 12, I think they said, but they figured 4 would be enough. So they're about to go down, and the front separates from the sub. They forgot to bolt it in.
Get me off.
Like they forgot to bolt it in. Yeah, no, that's no.
Either way, Titanic's undefeated, bro. The real king of the sea.
No, thank you.
I can't help but laugh at people who have like, to me, unimaginable money,
Yeah.
getting so bored with their life that they do something that kills them.
And from all accounts, the one guy's kid didn't want to
No,
go
that's
down.
the one that I feel bad about. The kid that said, I don't want to, and got like peer pressure or family
Yeah.
pressured into it. I don't like that. But nothing about a billionaire sits right with me.
at all.
Me neither, unless it's me. Then I'd find if somebody wants to make sure I make $1 billion, I'll find a way to be okay with it.
So like it's the idea if somebody wants to give me $1 billion, that's different from like if I were to earn $1 billion in today's day and age, you didn't earn it, you stole it from people that earned it for you.
Oh, maybe.
That's what gets me.
Again, I'm somewhere in the middle. There's some things that have been innovated in this country that are due to somebody's efforts or thoughts. And that thing made an ungodly amount of money. And do we deserve more of it? Maybe. But I have other, at least, I guess I have less ire towards people that provide jobs. And let's say Bezos.
That makes sense.
Bezos has all these employees that have a job because of him, and all those employees buy houses, which pay property tax, which goes to schools and does so many good things. And I mean, he created something. Now you put that up against an actor who's in a movie and makes $20 million for a 2-hour movie.
So
I don't know.
So what I could argue is that the actor being paid $2 million for that movie is being paid for the value that he brings to the business that he is working for.
It's not 2 million though, it's hundreds of millions
Well,
in some cases.
whatever he ends up getting, but that's what I'm saying. When a company is talking about how much profits they're making, they're still making those profits after expenses, right? So, in the sense of like Bezos, and yes, his people that work for him may have insurance and made it work well enough where they can pay for housing and have children and whatnot.
Sure.
To him, he's paying them the bare minimum of what he can pay them while still looking good. If he were to pay,
He's paying them the bare, actually I would disagree.
no, the bare
respectfully.
minimum to where he can still look good.
No, see,
That
and I would
ain't
disagree.
qualified.
I would say
That ain't qualified.
he's paying them the bare maximum that he can pay them and have them not quit.
Well, I mean, because what I would argue is there's
That's basically saying, I'm not gonna pay you $1 more than you're demanding of me.
Well, no, I'm saying in the sense of you would very likely have a lot more long-term employees if you had a profit-sharing margin where it was like, because when you're paying them, to my mind, how I'm trying to word it, the minimum to what you still look good paying him, because he's paying them, what, $15, $20 an hour, right? But what's the value that each worker is bringing to that business? Because it's arguable that each worker is
I can argue with you right now.
40, 50
The most
dollars.
workers I'm seeing in a lot of places aren't worth that much.
No, I'm saying specific to Amazon.
I'm saying that there's a lot of workers that aren't worth what, depending on what age group, and I don't mean to be ageist.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I love kids. My daughters are Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They're wonderful children. But as far as work ethic, I'm not so sure. I mean, everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
Can't necessarily paint everyone with the same brush.
No. Definitely.
Same color, different brush. Ooh.
Yeah, let a 19-year-old get told, oh, if you work this job and you do it right, you'll never have to worry about anything for the rest of your life because you'll be taken care of. They might go, all right, I'm going to learn that job. I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to be a good employee. I'm going to stay here for 35 years until my 401k.
Yeah, if they can make it that long, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Soon enough, you'll have some kind of like therapist note coming in, like you need the mental health thing.
The way they grew up, 40 hours a week is just too much stress for their body.
My kid worked at Harris Teeter doing like shopping, and he worked back to back like 36-hour weeks, and then took off a week's vacation after, because he was exhausted. 72 hours for the whole week off.
And I can remember getting pulled out of a cookout to go do remodeling, and the first job being 10 hours a day on the side of a house doing siding, like pulling off pulling off the felt board, replacing with plywood, getting rid of any of the
Just the
like,
tip. That is so
busted
true.
up,
And we were that way too.
boards and whatnot.
Dave, what's going on, buddy? I didn't see you walk in.
Getting home, eating dinner, and just
Done.
straight into bed.
So, Dave, you guys have a lot of young people working at Duff's, and you've always had a lot of young people working at Duff's. Would you say that the young kids working today work harder, less hard than generations past? Just out of curiosity.
You can use anonymity. You can say it's not you, there's somebody else.
I remember the push. My first boss, I still remember his name, beyond my parents, because I was working at my parents' restaurant. Joe Gallo was an Italian immigrant, and he owned a department store, like second-hand jeans, Carhartts, that kind of thing. And if I wasn't like unloading the truck fast enough, the amount of times that guy told me he was going to break his foot off in my ass if I didn't find a faster gear, and I truly believed he would do it. Nowhere near as hard. That's what I thought. I mean, he threatened me with bodily harm. I remember there was one time I went to the warehouse because I was tired. We'd gone out the night before. We got a huge shipment of Carhartt sheepskin jackets with like the fluffy, like, they're very soft. So I put a bunch of these boxes together and I climbed in and just decided I was going to take a nap because I was so hungover. When I tell you I woke up with him pulling the shit out of my ear, what are you doing coming down here when I'm paying you? Just pay me $3.35 an hour. I mean, but I learned not to nap on the job again.
I'll tell you a lot of what it is, and I can even remember experiencing this when I was younger. The minimum wage for a lot of jobs now is $7.20, or well, the federal minimum wage is $7.65, I think.
Yeah, it's still in the sevens. It's
Something
kind of
like
crazy.
that. Yeah. What does $7, $8 get you in today when you go out to actually spend that money? It gets you nothing. So when a lot of people these days are getting paid nothing per hour, they go, okay, well you're gonna get
I'm not gonna lie,
nothing
man, but
for work.
See, but I'm gonna just don't take the job.
No,
If I take the job for $7 an hour or $10 an hour or $50, then my word is that I'm going to work the job as long as you pay me. I entered into an agreement. That's what's right and what's wrong.
the argument against that, and not really against, that was just more wording, but it's the idea of if the job is only being offered at this rate, would you rather have no job where you're making nothing, or would you
Right,
rather
but,
be making
I get it,
$60
but
a
if
day?
I'm taking the job, I'm working it to the best of my ability until I decide it's no longer worth me doing it. That's just the difference between right and wrong. You
And
took the
this
job.
This generation is just deciding that it's no longer
Correct.
worth doing
Well, they
that
talk
work,
about
but
the
they
whole thing
still
about
keep
quietly
getting-
quitting. So
Yeah,
they're
they
quitting
still-
while
they
they're still taking the
Is there an
paycheck.
Irish goodbye quit?
Basically, they're saying that I'm going to continue to
Or
work,
Midwestern goodbye.
but I'll
They
call
just
in
keep
when I
showing
want
up.
to call in. I'll only give you what I think you're paying me that it's worth. And I think that comes down to a morality problem. If I choose to take the pay,
But how much
I'm gonna
of
do the
that
job.
is morality on the business owner? I've got so many people quitting because I know that they keep telling me I'm not paying them enough to do the work that I'm asking for, and I'm still only offering the job at this rate.
he's able to get it done, I guess. But then we saw the other side of it. We saw
During
the
COVID, where people were like, no, I'm gonna stay home.
but we also saw like inflation go through the roof when we started paying more in certain segments. And then, like people say you should pay servers. So in South
that's
Carolina,
because-
server minimum wage is $2.13 an hour.
That's terrible.
Okay.
Business should always be able to pay their
Do you want to pay an extra $8 for your burger though versus tipping? Because one way or the other, the guest is paying for everything all the time. You pay for
want the
everything
example?
here.
Yes,
In,
but
in Times
how
Square,
much-
New York, I think minimum wage in Times Square is $15 an hour. So if you go to Applebee's in Times Square, which some people may have gone there, I think a burger in Times Square costs $30.
Yeah, the consumer pays all expenses leading to the finished product. So when people say servers should get a living wage, I shouldn't have to tip them. You're still the one paying. Whether it's a tip or whether it's a more expensive burger,
And
it's
I
still
can say-
you.
I can say as the guy that, because you're also the guy that's working here. The owner of this motherfucker is sitting at home
Yeah.
making money for no work.
Without a doubt.
He
Well,
did
it's
whatever
an
it took to
investment.
get him there.
That's Yeah, it took whatever to get him there,
Yeah.
but like, there's also the concept of I'm sitting here working my ass off.
Okay, but I mean,
And
so
the
my
guy
parents,
that's sitting at home
my,
is going to raise prices on everything because he's got to maintain that he still makes a fuckload
sure,
more
but
money.
at some
You get what I
point,
mean?
as long as you're willing to pay what you're willing to pay for the burger, you're complicit in it.
My lights are
You're not
on.
you're not deciding to go to the grocery store and buy meat and do it yourself.
Yeah.
So it works. The system
Because my
continues to work.
argument is more so like if you were to let the owners
Two
make
83
less
tips,
money,
and sometimes
the
we were
workers could
dead.
make more
Sometimes,
money
but as a
and
server, I mean,
maintain
I bartend because I
That's
only
what
do it
I'm
a couple
saying.
nights.
If the owners were to make less, the workers could make more, and we could maintain pricing, and there wouldn't like the
But like
owners
let's
still
say
making
let's say
more
just
than everybody in the
just here,
restaurant.
right? So I've worked with plenty of restaurants where like concepts where most restaurants don't make money.
I was just gonna say,
Oh,
you
and
said
yeah, that's
you
another
said
thing.
that's
It
more
does take
restaurant
money.
owners.
It does take time to be able to make
Time
money.
isn't even.
and then
Oh, no,
also,
they-
like,
Think about the amount of businesses that go out of business,
Yes.
and it's the majority of
Restaurants
them.
being one of the
And when
main
the
ones
restaurant
that
goes
go
out of
out of
business, every server isn't told, "Hey, you got to chip in," and it's the owner that's gone. So you take the risk, you reap the rewards.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I appreciate it, Linda. But I mean, I always bartended on the side. I did it as a kid. I would work 20 hours a week and make 10 times what my friends in real jobs were making.
Yeah.
It was through the efforts of my work. I worked busy nights. I'd work twice as fast, twice as hard, so that they didn't have to put on 2 bartenders.
See, and that was also a product of like how hard you were able to have, how hard you worked at your job directly
Yes.
translate into money for the
And that's always the case with sales, and servers are salespeople.
Yeah, sales is different. Yes, sales, servers and sales, that's all sales. But like hourly workers, no matter how hard they work, like cookout worker,
Right, they're going to make the
worker-
same amount of money
Exactly.
that they negotiated for when they took the job.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's kinda like the
That's what
argument
I'm
of a
saying.
fireman
Those
saying-
type of jobs, it's not a negotiation.
They
They're
took-
offering the job at this.
Right, so the negotiation is I say
Yes,
yes.
or no?
Yeah, I guess.
You know, you may not win the negotiation, but you
That's-
said yes, you
that's-
took the
that is
job.
fair. That is fair.
It'd be kind of like a fireman saying, listen, I love everything to do with this job, but it's a hostile work environment. I shouldn't have to work in this damn heat. You took the job knowing what it was.
See, no, I'm not. That's a good one. That's a good one.
What's
But no,
going on,
I'm saying-
Raven?
I'm saying there is the like social or societal pressure of either I'm sitting at home without a job or I can at least be working this and make some money. And how many people fall into that where you end up working a job where you're not getting paid what value you're bringing to the job or the business.
So then, but I'm saying if that person is that disgruntled, they need to go find another job. And in my 55 years, I've never not been able to find another job.
Okay, but that's where I'm saying like a lot of jobs that are offered have that same mentality of we're gonna try to offer the least amount we can where people will still accept.
So my generation coming out of college, Gen X, we were one of the first generations. Millennials walked smack dab into it too, where we were promised that if you go and get a college degree,
and it just doesn't.
there's
matter.
going to be a job waiting for you. And we got out of college, and we got out of college at a time when it's like the third recession of our young adult lives, and the boomers are like, we're nowhere near ready to retire. I don't know what job you thought you were graduating to, it's just not there. But if you look at the statistics, we're one of the most entrepreneurial generations. That group of people born between 1965 and 1980 said, okay, there's not a job out there, I'll start mowing lawns. I'll start a painting company.
And that's where I could argue that now the market is so saturated, especially with new ideas, that it's harder
Not
to
on
come up
trades.
with the new ideas.
Not on the trades, they're still out there. If you want an HVAC job paying you 75
They
grand,
definitely are saturated.
I'm telling you right now, if you want an
Maybe not so
HVAC
much
job,
with construction, remodeling,
construction, remodeling, plumbing,
landscaping,
all that stuff. The point is there's always something somewhere. And sometimes it takes more than one, and sometimes it's not what I want to do. Sometimes the job you get isn't the job you love, but that's why it's a job. And I will say, younger generations seek that I want what I want because it's life, it's purpose
I want
and
to feel like
happiness.
I'm doing something
Yes.
that I've
But
Yes.
that's,
been
but that's
called
different
to
between
do.
that's
That
different
is
between value.
1,000% correct. They want
Yeah.
purpose, they want something they love, and whereas we were just like, I'm going to suck it up. That's just not what life is. Work-life balance didn't
Part of that
exist.
is we were the generation that was taught you can be whatever you
Yeah,
want.
and we weren't.
If you were told you can
Someone's
be
gotta
whatever
cover
you
there.
want,
Yes.
and then you grow up and you go, I want to make it different.
Dude, God bless.
The
That-
only thing
you
that
nailed
you
it.
end up settling for is something.
I don't know
that
if you
in
guys
your
heard
mind
that.
you feel can
He
make
said
a
they're the
difference.
generation that was told they could be anything they want. They can do anything they want if they work hard enough, if they do the right things. We were never told that. We were never told that.
And we were the generation that not only was told that, but not that I have the experience, because I didn't end up going to college like that, but a lot of people my age had the experience of, if you work your ass off, do what you're supposed to, go to college, get your degree, you'll come out and you can be anything you
Yep.
want, and then they end up as servers at
Yeah.
a restaurant.
No,
or
we were
something
told
like
there's
that.
absolutely nothing special about you. Move faster, work harder. There's always somebody better looking, smarter, harder, stronger. There's nothing special about
The
you.
only thing that'll ever be special about you is the thing you make special
Yeah,
about you.
that's
if
it.
You work your ass off to get there.
If I did ridiculously well in school, my mom would tell me, it's okay, someone's doing even better than you. And the guy that you just beat is doing everything he can to beat you tomorrow.
There's somebody in Jersey that's got you beat.
Yeah, it's just the way it was. So that, I mean, it's not fair. Who the hell said it was going to be fair? You know, I heard that a million times in my life. I'm
No,
like,
that was something that a lot of
But-
kids were taught. Like,
but a lot of kids
do
today
what's
seek
right,
fairness. They
and-
see it. They look for it. They're like,
Well-
the world should be a fair place.
well,
God
I would
bless
also
them. It
say-
should be.
I would also say, at least I try to instill that fairness of like, all right, if you wronged me, you at least admit to it. Then I'm gonna be like easier on you.
Absolutely eloquent. You out here, brother? You too. Yeah, it's just different. I mean, we were taught to anticipate disappointment. We were taught that it just is what it is.
So
You know,
your
my dad,
generation grew
you
up
don't know how
poor.
many times I told my dad would work at 70 years old. He'd open the restaurant at 5 in the morning and be there until 11 at night. And he'd get home and I'd be like, Dad, do you like what you do? He's like what I do? What does that have to do with anything? I've got a mortgage. I've got kids to put a roof over their heads.
He's not the I like what it
No,
what I
he-
do. He's I like what it does for me.
Correct.
It
This
takes
is what I
care
can
of my
do.
family.
He's like, I came to this country, I didn't have language, all I had was the amount of work I could do. He's like, so I worked for someone until I could work for myself, and then I couldn't, he goes, I can't afford to cook, so I cook. From morning all the way through, it's me. He's like, that's the way it is. It's just the way it was. And if I'm like, well, that's not fair, then you'd like, yeah, and it wasn't fair that the communists took my father away when I was 12 years old in the middle of the night. It's not fair that your mother walked into her mother dead on the floor when she was 9. I mean, that's the life they lived.
So your father then lived through the Second World War then?
My dad was born in 1926 in the Ukraine, so it was a Greek settlement there. And Stalin came into power and said, I want all you Greeks out of here. You will either become part of the Communist Party or you will be gone when I wake up in the morning.
So there's
And
a
my
whole
grandfather
different
said, I'm not going anywhere. My family's been here for generations.
Well,
And they
hell
came and
yeah
took
to
him.
him.
Yeah, well, and they
So-
came and took him. So,
No, all right. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that happened, but still,
he should have left. But that's what I'm saying. Our
the
parents had
American way is to say fuck you.
Our parents had it so much harder than we ever
Yeah.
would have it that they had no compassion for us. And then we came along and started doing well and wanted our kids to do better. It was just a different mentality.
It was the progression of they had a more extreme version of I don't
Thank
want
you,
my
Dixie.
kids to ever
Have a good night.
I don't want my kids to ever see this again.
Right.
And then you had your dad was like I don't want my kid to
That's
ever
awesome,
live
Mark.
like I had
Right.
to. And
So they just
now-
worked their asses off and
And now you're struggling with, do I need to show my kids some hard times?
yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So we have 2 daughters. My oldest one, if she had a problem at school, I was there in the morning. If she whatever, I mean, fought her battles before they even showed up. And in hindsight, it's because my parents never went to the school. If I'm like, this teacher is being mean to me or hates me or I don't care, you must have given her a reason. I mean, it is what it is. But
Miss Dabrowski never had
yeah.
my parents show up.
So I mean, my parents never showed up. So I'm like, I'm going to show up for my kid. Now my younger daughter, I'm not showing up so much.
Something happens, she calls you.
I
and
mean,
you're
I'm like, okay, did you try to fix it? Yeah, Dad, I tried. Try again. Let me know how it works.
I gave you the tools.
Yeah. So it is what it is. We didn't get rewarded for anything. It was expected of us. Yeah. Everything was an expectation.
How
I didn't get an
much you got?
allowance. Did you get an allowance?
No. What the fuck is
I
that?
you
was
get
too
an
poor for that. I was too poor for that.
Well, it wasn't even a poor thing. My parents were like, why would I give you money to do what you should be doing anyway?
I went to work at
Here's
the
your
bank.
chores because you're part of this family. These are your responsibilities. Why would I give you? You want an allowance? The shirt on your back's your allowance. The food in your stomach.
I had a weeping willow out front, so like I was still the type where if Dad got home and you were in trouble, it was go outside, pick 3 switches off the tree.
In some cases, Moonrail,
And
it was
then
us.
whichever one stands
You know,
up,
there's
that's
an
the one you get.
overcorrection. I think every generation tries to adjust what they experience, and then sometimes it's an overadjustment. I overcorrected. Now I'm blessed. My daughter's a good kid. She's full-time at work for you. She's not the world's best employee. Wasn't the world's worst employee. You know, she had respect, but
I like how he turned it. She's not the best.
she's not. I know my
It
kid.
wasn't an issue.
I know my kid.
She doesn't cause trouble.
No.
Whatever you asked, you did. You know?
Yeah, but it's just we overcorrected a little bit with the best of intentions. But people say to me all the. But the other side of it is like I'm working on a video right now where there's a neighborhood here, friends of mine. It's Ellie's
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
He has a little go-kart type thing, this electric little go-kart that he rides around the neighborhood, and it's kind of low to the ground. And he's just like riding it around the cul-de-sac, and in a private Facebook group for the community, somebody anonymously made an issue of the fact that the kid's riding this thing in the neighborhood.
Maybe it's too low.
I don't care what. Here's the thing, though. We are constantly slamming on kids of this generation being too soft, all the while saying, "Oh, I got hit by a car 13 times before I was the age of 9. I jumped over ramps and broke my bones." Then here you've got a kid actually outside doing this stuff. You want to yell at him because he wasn't paying attention when you pulled up? Yell at him. Correct him. That's all good. But to go on a private Facebook page and call out, "Oh, there's a kid, riding this thing."
Go back to that page and ask them, are we not all from the generation where we got home from school and mom would hit us
Karen
in the
has no
ass with
affiliation.
her foot as she said, don't you come back until the street lights are on?
Right. But sometimes we
Karen.
want to have it both ways. We yell at these kids, but then we don't let them do the things that we did that made us the way we are.
Karen has no affiliation, bro. Karen is only there for Karen's parents.
I can say whenever I visit my parents' house, one of the best things
That's
to
awesome,
hear in
man.
that neighborhood is children screaming at the top of their lungs.
There's really none of mine. And I got a bunch of kids around me.
Well, and then the other thing I see all the time is people will post an image from their Ring doorbell. These kids were at my doorbell at 4 o'clock yesterday. Is anybody recognizing them? Because they were ding dong ditches. They were so what that. They didn't burn down your house. They didn't knock down your door.
Go out
Kids
there.
are being kids.
Go out there and curse at them, bro. Go out there and curse at them.
I
Flip
can
them
remember when I was 11 or 12, we used to go around the neighborhood and it was a group of like 10 kids. So parents would be like, okay, as long as you're back by like 1 o'clock on weekends, Friday and weekends, Friday, Saturday night, if you were back by 1 o'clock, you were okay. We would go around ding dong ditching, we would play Invisible Rogue. We had this game called
Jack, from your words to God's
Drive-By,
ear.
where if a car was
Your
about
mouth to God's
come,
ear?
one person in the group would just like dive on the ground,
Right.
and everybody would act like they were beating them up.
Only
and then
person
as the car
racing.
Got close, we'd all scatter, right? We'd
I don't
play
know.
all
We
these
used-
games,
we used to
and
ding
we
dong
never got
ditch.
in trouble.
We used to do prank phone calls.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all these little acts of rebellion that when we got caught taught us consequence.
Oh, yeah,
I
but-
did this, I effed around, and I found out. We're not giving kids the chance to F around.
The one time we took out a mailbox, one of our friends' dads had it
A little
the
bit of
next
rebellion.
morning and was like, do y'all boys realize what y'all have done to this neighborhood?
Thank you, Tina. The embarrassment of getting hit in public
Oh,
was
like, oh,
huge.
you're going to jail
Thank you so
type
much for the
speech.
party,
We
Ann.
were
I've never
like,
seen
oh,
that
God.
before.
No,
We made up a game called Klepto Christmas. It's not a game I'm proud of.
Did you steal Christmas cards from people's mailboxes?
We sold the ornaments off the lawn.
Oh, jeez. Look where my mind went.
see,
We had a whole.
I had
city
friends
set.
that would do that, that would rob mailboxes the week before Christmas. Because
wow.
grandma would
offense.
put like
The original
I know,
postcard.
but there's like, they knew or they assumed or they were willing to take the chance that there was envelopes in there with a card and grandma's $5, and
Oh, man,
that was beer money. Not me. It was not me.
We stole the baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the whole nine.
What's your tequila of choice, Kevin? Oh, the Jerky Boys. I completely forgot
that was my
about
first
that.
album.
That was your first album?
First
Jerky
set.
Boys. Jerky Boys taught us how to do prank calls.
Yeah, exactly.
But think about what kids can't do today. They can't do prank calls because everyone's caller ID, and we won't answer calls that we don't recognize, or we filter them one way. So prank calling's gone. Ding dong ditch, gone because of Ring doorbells. Cutting class. I used to cut class. You can't cut class anymore.
You know
the
that-
Power app will immediately tell the parent the kid's not in class, so that's
We
gone.
used to have an administrator that would catch you, and he'd be like, "Oh, so I caught you skipping." You'd be like, "No, I wasn't." And he'd pull out a picture that had bushes in it because he was up in the tree
Oh,
taking
Jesus.
a picture of you from his like actual one of those that you have
Mailbox
to adjust
baseball.
the lenses type cameras from.
Milagro it is
He
then.
hit you the next day with a fully developed.
Yeah,
picture.
Wait till your father gets home.
Poster
Worst
style.
words you could
Like,
ever
this
hear.
is
It was
you.
pretty
This
bad.
is- huh.
Yeah. Give him the bush.
We did those dumb stuff, but I mean, really, honestly, that stuff is what taught us consequence. So that we learned a lot of skills. I remember coming home after like ditching school, and we went to the mall or something, and I'd walk into the restaurant because after school, my parents were never home; they were at the diner. So after school, I would walk to the diner to get a bite to eat before going home to do my chores, do my homework, go play, whatever. And we'd just gotten back into town, and I walked into the restaurant, and my dad meets me, and he goes, "So, how was school today?" My dad never asked me, "How was school today?" So in that moment, your brain is learning to work so quickly to do all of these mathematic computations. How much does he know? How does he know it? What do I do? So, I mean, you're thinking faster than you ever thought was possible. That sort of thinking doesn't happen today. But getting into trouble, getting out of trouble, creative storytelling, debating, lying, all crucial skills that I learned because I skipped school and I got caught. He beat the shit out of me that day.
I'd even say the best one for me was one night I snuck my car or my parents' car.
That's
out,
awesome, Scab.
And it was I pushed
Sarcasm,
it out
that's
the driveway
awesome.
fast enough where I could get it down the street and started it at the stop sign down the street. Well, little did I know because I wasn't paying attention. My neighbor across the street.
We
was
still do
sitting
trick-or-treat in my
out front
neighborhood.
On his front porch, smoking a cigarette, just quietly laughing to himself.
Got him.
So I get to the stop sign to leave the neighborhood.
What did you
and I
say,
get a
just the
text
tip?
from
What did
my
I miss?
dad, just, hey, you're not as sneaky as you think you are. You better not crash my car. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that much.
I just went back and read that. How about answering the automatically phone calls from missing? Oh, dude, when the calls would come, my mom wasn't home to answer the phone. They were, like I said, they were at the diner, and I made sure that my parents being immigrants, whenever forms came home to be signed, my parents wouldn't write them, I would. So there was no way in hell the restaurant's phone number was going on anything. So that if I skipped school and they called the house, I was the one that picked it up.
Okay, so you had a different experience from any 90s kids. 90s kids were taught if the phone rings, you don't answer. And if somebody rings that doorbell or knocks on the door and I'm not home, don't you dare answer that.
That was
door.
because
it was the generation of like, there's gonna be somebody in a white panel van that's gonna
well,
come
that
up
was
and
us. I
offer
mean,
you
you got to
candy.
remember, we had the Milk Kid of the Month club. So when our kids turned up missing, they just threw our faces on the cartons because they didn't know what else to do. So we had that. We were told if you're in the house and someone's at the door, you hide. But the difference is most of us weren't allowed in the house. My mom did not want us in the house when they weren't home because she cleaned the house and wanted it to stay that way. So if she wasn't home, that's why we drank from the hose, because we were thirsty and that was the only way to get water.
So you were the earlier iteration of the generation that you got home and either mom or dad went,
Yeah, get out.
and then the street lights come on
Yeah.
and you hear your name, and if you didn't hear it the first time, then you hear your middle name, and then you know
What's
you're
going
about to
on,
get your
guys?
ass beat.
Roger, what's up? Oh yeah, I remember they would be like, it was almost like tag team yelling your name. When my parents would get home from the diner, if we weren't home, your mom would yell. If you were out of earshot, a friend wasn't. So my mom would yell, Johnny! Nothing. Then some kid would go, Johnny's mom's calling him. So then it would be picked up. John, your mother's calling you. And it would just go down the block that way.
Is that New York blocks?
That's New York blocks.
That's funny. That's great.
I mean, I
Because you're
can't.
never more than a block and a half out of earshot, right?
You want to know
From
crazy? I
somebody.
can't tell from somebody. I could be miles away, but every 3 blocks somebody would carry the message. And then if you didn't get it, what would happen is
Oh,
you'd run
dear
into some
God.
kid that would say, dude, your parents have been looking for you. And as soon as you heard that, your blood ran cold. Because you knew you were done.
It sprints.
Wow, it's 11:15. I didn't realize how late it was.
Well, shit.
Today's
Can I get a
draft,
to-go cup? I'll drink it when I get home, I swear.
I actually, like, if you're saying about the door, right? So I lived in an apartment building growing up. So I grew up, like, right by Manhattan. And one time, I want to say it was 92. Yeah, I was about 10 years old. So somebody rang the doorbell, right? And we had, like, a phone. That wasn't a phone. It had a button to open the door.
Oh,
So I picked
okay,
the phone
like
up and I was like,
buzzer
hello,
type
who is
deal?
it? You know, and nobody answered, you know? And then I put the phone back on the wall, and then it goes off again, you know? Like, hey, who is it? Oh, yeah, we're trying to go, we're trying to get downstairs. We have to talk to the neighbor about something. I'm 10 years old, I'm innocent, I buzzed it in, right? I then run down the stairs, I run down a flight of stairs to see, like, who's there, who they were talking to. And there's these 2 dudes, right, like, just standing at this door over there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I turned around, went back up to my house and locked the fucking door. They broke into the fucking house.
No.
I mean, the house, the apartment. They broke into the apartment, and I had to go to, like, the police station and try to give a description. And I think the description I gave was, if you ever saw Police Academy Mission to Miami, I described the 2 bad guys in the movie.
Oh my God! You described the guys from Home Alone.
No, because that's what they looked like, man. The
They're
one guy
looking
had...
for Joe Pesci and Daniel
Have y'all
Stern.
seen, that actually reminds me, have y'all seen there's another police academy about to come out?
Oh,
I don't know about that, man. The Police Academy is a staple in my life. It has to
No,
be...
so the ad I saw was there's like a bank robbery that's happening, and this little girl in a like Catholic schoolgirl type uniform, like maybe 12, walks up with one of those giant lollipops. And they're like, no, little girl, don't do it. And she walks into the bank that's being robbed.
Right.
And they're like, no, little girl.
Oh, it's Naked Gun.
And the bank robbery.
Oh, yeah, that's Naked Gun.
That's Naked Gun.
Naked Gun.
That's Leslie Nielsen. Not Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Frank Drebin Jr.
I thought it was
Liam Neeson
Liam,
playing
yeah.
Frank Drebin Jr.
Yes.
They're like, little girl, you just walked into something. He's like, I think you walked into something.
Yeah.
And it's Liam Neeson. That's
John's not a big fan of Naked Gun.
not.
I like
Naked
Naked Gun.
Gun.
Naked Gun?
I like Naked Gun.
Yeah, you told me we're not a
No, I like Naked Gun.
What about
You sure?
Airplane
Yeah.
and what do you know about
No, Naked Gun was
Airplane
good.
and Spaceballs and
Spaceballs.
all
What
that
I like about the
stuff?
new Naked Gun is it looks like it's going to be inappropriate. I mean, they already make the OJ joke right in the trailer, so you know that they're going to be at least marginally inappropriate.
Yeah, but will they make the same blaxploitation type jokes?
We can only hope.
We can only hope, honestly.
Because
If you're gonna make it right, you gotta make it right.
Blazing Saddles was one of my favorite movies ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
Spaceballs 2 is coming
And
out.
then if you ever get the chance, look up Black Dynamite.
Well, I know Black Dynamite inside and out. That's one of my favorites.
Take care, Luna. Have a wonderful
I
evening.
came at the room.
Naked Gun 2.5, or whatever that was, 33 and 33, all amazing. Agreed. And if they screw it up, they screw it up. It doesn't make the. At least it's not a remake. I just don't like remakes. I've been on record saying that. I don't mind sequels. They have good sequels. They have bad sequels. Just don't remake it.
Yeah.
Like a midget in a urinal, you gotta stay on my toes.
How y'all feel about Ted and what's his name's remake?
Cool.
What was the movie with Keanu Reeves and
Bill and Ted's the last one that came out?
it was Ted and Something's Fantastic
Yeah,
Adventure.
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Yeah.
All
How do y'all feel about the remake of that?
It didn't catch any of the old nostalgia. They tried to, but just didn't have it. It didn't have it. Like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is standalone, right?
Excellent.
Bogus Journey is a little different, you know. But I was real young when that one came out, so like I enjoyed it from like a kid standpoint. But then this one was just like, I don't know.
There was a few movies I saw recently that kind of felt that same way, especially with Bill and Ted.
Yeah, right. But like for me, Police Academy and Naked Gun were two movies that like I would call my dad at work and tell him, hey, this scene's on.
I promise I'll drink it when I get home. Let me get you
Seal it so it looks sharp.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. So I already told you about how I tried to date a Greek chick in high school and had a couple of friends turn to me and be like, "Dude, you don't even know that. you don't know what's going on with Greek Orthodox." What was it you just said? Because we're in the other. I can't remember. It was also good. This is the problem with playing football and then rugby and then also smoking a lot of weed. I'm there.
Oh, you know what's not cool? I stumbled upon yesterday, or the other day? Remember Encino, man?
Yeah, of course.
So, you know who was up for the part of Link?
No.
Ben Stiller.
Was he really?
And they have the camera test. So
Oh, I've gotta look that
it's
up.
Sean Astin. I don't think it's the same kid that played Sean Astin's best friend. It was another kid, and Ben Stiller. And Ben Stiller's playing the caveman.
I love watching like who could have
Get
been.
the screen test.
Yeah. There was a great one for the Outsiders.
Have you seen the
I
ones
saw
for
that.
The
They showed
Office?
all those. Those are
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
Those were amazing.
Have y'all seen the ones for The Office?
Oh yeah, the cut
Oh,
scenes.
it's all the there's a tryout for Michael Scott, and they've got all these different actors. I think they've got one with I am just maybe I should drink more water. I'm not remembering the names right now. I've got the big face in my mind, and I've got his laugh in my mind. Dude from Superbad played one of the cops, the redheaded dude. Pineapple Express.
You know, as I thought Pineapple Express at that point when it came out, would be right up my alley, and I just wasn't that crazy about it. That and This Is the End, both of them, for whatever reason, man, like they're funny. Just I didn't become like obsessed with them.
What?
All right.
Keith Coogan, oh my God.
Ben Stiller. It's not Ben Fraser.
That's Ben Stiller?
No, he's in place.
Oh, okay. I recognize Keith Coogan.
Yeah,
So instead of Brendan Fraser.
it's Ben Stiller.
Have y'all ever seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was damn good. What
Yeah.
y'all think of it?
I read the book too.
Really?
Yeah,
Did it follow the book?
very much.
Very much so.
All right, guys. Calling the last call, basically. Appreciate you all.
Hold on, before I say it, off camera. Take off the hat. All right, now I can say it. I'll get out of you guys' hair.
Take it easy, brother. Appreciate you.
Well.
You too, man. Appreciate you so much. See you again. You're not working tomorrow? Who's closing?
I gotta take a look. I mean, more than likely Scott.
It's Scott, okay. Here I am, I'm a man. Shots of Everclear for everyone. Wouldn't wish that
everyone.
upon
No
my
one's
worst
going home.
enemy.
No one's going over.
All done, Linda. Literally. Last cups are gone. Last customers are gone. Finally getting out tonight. I love that you guys keep the chat room going, though. It's literally like an AOL chat room. I'll say it a million times. I'm sure I had to handle now. Yes, I am.
He just asked me
So-
the same thing. I have no idea. I I post Friday. I post Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
ASL, exactly.
Unless there's.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for the support. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the gifts. You guys are the absolute best. Try to go on live tomorrow if I get a chance. Depends on how quiet it is tomorrow. Today was pretty quiet at the end, so it gave me a chance. If not, then I will be live again on Friday night, I would guess. And if not Friday, then 100% sure for Sunday. Exactly, Mandy. Good night, everybody.
Sunday for the wonderful world of
Wonderful world of Generation X. Nothing but love. Peace.